Hello, everyone. I have a poem for you here today, and it's by Joseph Burt Smiley, which I had never really heard the name before, but he wrote a poem called St. Peter at the Gate, and I'm bringing that to you now. Um, so here we go. St. Peter stood at the Golden Gate with a solemn mien and air sedate. Went up to the top of the golden stair, a man and a woman ascending there. Applied for admission, they came and stood before St. Peter, so great and good, in hopes the city of peace to win, and asked St. Peter to let them in. The woman was tall and lank and thin, with a scraggy beardlet upon her chin. The man was short and thick and stout. His stomach was built so it rounded out. His face was pleasant, and all the while he wore a kindly and pleasant smile. The choirs in the distance, the echoes awoke, and the man kept still while the woman spoke. O thou who guards the gate, said she, we too came hither, beseeching thee, to let us enter the heavenly land and play our harps with the angel band. Of me, St. Peter, there is no doubt. There is nothing from heaven to bar me out. I've been to meeting 3 times a week, and almost always I'd rise and speak. I've told the sinners about the day when they repent of their evil way. I've told my neighbors, I've told them all about Adam and Eve and the primal fall. I've shown them what they'd have to do if they'd pass in with the chosen few. I've marked their path of duty clear, laid out the plan for the whole career. I've talked and talked to them loud and long, for my lungs are good and my voice is strong. So, good St. Peter, you'll clearly see the gate of heaven is open for me. But my old man, I regret to say, hasn't walked in exactly the narrow way. He smokes and he swears, and grave faults he's got, and I don't know whether he'll pass or not. He never would pray with an earnest vim, or go to revival, or join in a hymn. So I had to leave him in sorrow there, while I, with the chosen, united in prayer. He ate what the pantry chanced to afford, while I, in my purity, sang to the Lord. And if cucumbers were all he got, it's a chance if he merited them or not. But oh, St. Peter, I love him so. To the pleasures of heaven, please let him go. I've done enough, a saint I've been. Won't that atone? Can't you let him in? But my grim gospel, I know 'tis so, that the unrepentant must try below. But isn't there some way you can see that he may enter who's so dear to me? It's narrow gospel by which I pray, but the chosen expect to find some way of coaxing or fooling or bribing you so that their relations can amble through. And say, St. Peter, it seems to me the gate isn't kept as it ought to be. You ought to stand by that opening there and never sit down in that easy chair. And say, St. Peter, my sight is dimmed, but I don't like the way your whiskers are trimmed. They're cut too wide, an outward toss. They'd look better narrow, cut straight across. Well, we must be going, our crown to win. So open, St. Peter, and we'll pass in. St. Peter sat quiet and stroked his staff, but in spite of his office, he had to laugh. Then said with a fiery gleam in his eye, who's tending this gateway? You or I? And then he arose in his stature tall and pressed a button upon the wall. He said to an imp who came all aglow, escort this woman to the regions below. The man stood still as a piece of stone, stood sadly, gloomily there alone. A lifelong settled idea he had that his wife was good and he was bad. He thought if the woman went down below, that he would certainly have to go. That if she went to the regions dim, there wasn't a ghost of a chance for him. Slowly he turned, by habit bent, to follow wherever the woman went. St. Peter, standing on duty there, observed that the top of his head was bare. He called the gentleman back and said, "Friend, how long have you been wed?" 30 years, with a heavy sigh. And then he thoughtfully added, "Why?" St. Peter was silent, with head bent down. He raised his hand and stretched his crown and scratched his crown. Then, seeming a different thought to take, slowly, half to himself, he spake. 30 years with that woman there? No wonder the man hasn't any hair. Swearing is wicked. Smoking's not good. He smoked and swore. I should think he would. 30 years with that tongue so sharp? Oh, Angel Gabriel, give him a harp, a jeweled harp with a golden string. Good sir, pass in where the angels sing. Gabriel, give him a seat alone, one with a cushion, up near the throne. Call up some angels to play their best. Let him enjoy the music and rest. See that on the finest ambrosia he feeds. He's had about all the hell he needs. It isn't just hardly the thing to do, to roast him on earth, and in the future too. They gave him a harp with golden strings, a glittering robe, and a pair of wings. And he said as he entered the realms of day, "Well, this beats cucumbers anyway." And so the scriptures had come to pass, the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. And that's it. It's kind of a cute, amusing poem. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, subscribe if you would, forward it to your friends, family if you would, and please come back. If you do that, subscribe. It costs nothing, and it helps it to support us and keep us going, and helps the algorithm. So please uh, leave that like and subscribe if you would. Thank you so much from Dom and Mike Spoiler Alert for listening, and please come back and listen again. I appreciate it. We really do.